Hi, you guys. So, I want to talk a little bit about if you've ever found yourself in a relationship or, some type of situation or conversation, interactions with someone, specifically, maybe as it relates to dating. And this person seems to always want to be like on the phone with you or spend time with you. But here's the kicker, they don't really have a lot to say. Um, and it's spent with you doing most of the talking and but they don't care, they just want to be like on the phone with you, or they want to be like just in your presence. Okay, so you might be thinking, oh well, it's just because like this person really likes me, but maybe they're shy, and they don't like to talk a lot, or something like that. And I would say, maybe, could be, that might be one of the reasons, but let's talk a little bit about what it most likely really is. Okay, sometimes you may not realize it because you're kind of thinking about, well, what you want to see. You want to see that this person really likes and cares about you, but what it really is this person sometimes could just be using you for one reason or another. And more specifically, it's because they want to suck your blood, right? And I'm being funny. It's not that they literally want to suck your blood. What they really want is they're trying to take your energy, because most likely you're dealing with an energy vampire. So let's look at some of the ways that these people are draining you of your energy. They're basically using you for as long as they possibly can, so that they can, in a sense, like harvest your energy. That's what they're doing. Okay. And what you're going to see with these types of people is, it's not going to be blatant, because there's a whole strategy behind it, right? Like, they don't want to scare you off or run you off right away, so they have to be strategic in the way that they move with you. But if you slow down and pay attention, like, you need to do a little bit less of the talking and pay attention to a couple of things of, like, when they do speak, what do they say? How are they interacting with you? Because what you might find is that this person, number one, is projecting their negative emotions, thoughts, and feelings onto you, hoping that it will stick. Because once those emotions, thoughts, feelings that are negative in nature stick to you, it's kind of like giving them a hit, right? It's feeding them in a sense. Okay. And this is what it'll look like. One, you might hear them make some type of provocative statements, and those statements are meant to incite some type are meant to incite some type of emotion out of you, elicit some type of emotion out of you. And I'm going to say more specifically, it's meant to get you in a low vibrational state. Those low vibrational emotions, such as anger, fear, guilt, or shame, right? So, and they're gonna play it off and make it look like completely innocent, right? So, let me think. Okay, so an example would be, I don't know, maybe they'll ask you a question and you'll talk about, some things that maybe at your work, and how you prefer things to go a certain way. And they may just blurt out like, "Oh, so you're a control freak." Oh, okay. Or they may ask you like, "What's your favorite thing to do in bed?" And you tell them, and they're like, "Oh, so you a big freak." Or I'm just trying to think of some things that these people can say, but it's really like, they're going to ask you questions. Like, when they talk, they'll ask you questions, and then it's like they'll make a generalization about who you are and how you are based off of the information that you have fed to them. Not only, and sometimes they may not use that information right away. Sometimes they're tucking it in their back pocket so that they can use it later on, right? When they need some more of your supply. And when I say supply, I mean, yes, energy vampire. Some people, also, if we want to talk about people that are, more, have narcissistic traits, that's another thing. They're feeding off of your energy. It's not about anything specific about you, in general. Like, they really just need your energy, right? And another thing is that this person may want to kind of relive past, like, what I talked about, like they'll tuck it away because they're going to use that information and they're going to relive like past situations, past conversations, past observations that they've had about you. And again, the goal is to put you in this state of fear, anger, guilt, or shame. And they use that information to feed off of. It gives them more energy, right? Or even like if you're on the phone with this person and like you are excited and you're talking about your day, you're talking about everything that you've done, you're talking about your goals, your plans, how excited you are about things, and this person is not talking and they're just on the phone, like, you're like, oh, what are you doing? Nothing. Oh, okay. Well, what do you have planned for the day? Oh, just sitting here. So, and it's like they want to encourage you to keep talking and giving your positive energy, and they're soaking it in. And once they've had enough, like they can end that conversation with you or that interaction with you, and they can use the energy that they have harvested from you to do other things. They might use that energy to get through their day. They may use that energy to propel them to work on some type of, project or business endeavor. They may use that energy and give it to another person that they're talking to, right? So a person, yeah. So, I mean, that's just another thing that they do. So, one thing that I would say is when you're dealing with someone who is projecting their negative thoughts, emotions, feelings, or whatever, like they say something negative to you and they're projecting that, like making it about you, then what I would say is you need to immediately counteract what it is that they've said in that moment. So here's an example, like I talked about, well, if they say, oh, so you're a control freak, you could say, well, it may be true for you that you're a control freak, but for me, I know what it is that I want and how I like things to be. And, I'm not going to settle for less. I don't know, something like that, right? It's kind of a return to sender, so to speak, for those of you that are spiritual in any way. If they say, oh, well, so, they ask you something about, your naughty business and you tell them and they're like, oh, so you a freak, right? Then you may say, well, it may be true for you. Like that may make you a freak or you may be a freak. However, I am aware of my sexuality and, I'm not ashamed of who I am. And that's just what it is. And you can take it or leave it. I mean, you have to do something to just kind of counteract it. Like, whatever. You don't want to just leave that hanging in the air, like leave it dangling where they have projected this energy off on you and it leaves you feeling a certain type of way. Send it back. Okay. So that's another thing. And I would just say disconnect your communication with that person. I'm not going to tell you that you have to disconnect from them forever. That's your choice. You can disconnect and just like cut them off and leave them alone, permanently, or you can just cut them off and disconnect and just say, you know what? I'm really not liking how this conversation is going. So, hey, give me a call back when you're feeling more up to, like a more lively discussion. And cut it off, because you want to make sure that anything that you are dealing with in life, that there's some level of reciprocity. You can't be the one giving off all of your energy, all of your good energy to another person, and you're not receiving anything in return. So yeah, if anything, they're just depleting you, and you know that they are, because at the end of the conversation, you're left feeling tired and drained. Don't let anyone do that. Okay. And then once you're done with that whole conversation, it's up to you if you want to do this or not. But what I would do is, like, if you notice that you're feeling drained or tired or something like that, it's very noticeable, then all you have to do, remember, our words are powerful, right? So all you have to do is say, I call back all of my positive energy throughout time and space, or all of my, power and energy. I call back all of my power and energy throughout all time and space, or, you can make it fancier, however you want to do it. But the point is for you to speak those words out loud, because you're not going to leave that person. You're not going to let that person walk off